You've probably heard of the brain-eating amoeba, right? It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. But the real story of Naegleria fowleri is, well, a lot more complicated. This isn't really a story about a monster. It's the story of an accidental killer.
So let's start with this question. What if a totally normal single-celled organism just minding its own business in a pond was also, by a complete biological fluke, one of the deadliest things a human could ever encounter? That's the bizarre paradox we're diving into today. And that really gets to the heart of it. See, Naegleria fowleri isn't a parasite in the usual sense. It doesn't need us. It doesn't seek us out. Our fatal run-ins with it are just that, accidents. A tragic wrong turn for the amoeba, and a devastating one for us.
To really get this, you need to know this one word, amphizoic. All it means is that Naegleria fowleri is perfectly happy living its whole life freely, just eating bacteria in the mud of a lake. But under a very specific, very unlucky set of circumstances, it can switch gears and become a parasite inside a host. And that's when things go horribly wrong.
Now let's just place this little guy on the tree of life for a second. It's a protozoan, a simple, single-celled organism. We, on the other hand, are metazoans, big, complicated, multi-trillion-celled animals. And think about this. This organism is found in soil and warm water all over the world, yet the disease is incredibly rare. That huge evolutionary gap is actually part of what makes it so deadly when an infection does happen. Its basic biology is so ancient and different from ours that our modern medicines just can't get a handle on it.
Even the name itself tells the story of its discovery. Naegleria is a nod to Kurt Naegler, a scientist way back in the early 20th century who was studying these kinds of shape-shifting amoebas. And fowleri? Well, that honors Dr. Malcolm Fowler. He was the Australian pathologist in the 1960s who finally figured it out, connecting these mysterious fatal cases of meningitis to this specific amoeba in the patient's brains.
Okay, so this organism is a master of survival, and its life cycle is just wild. It's a true shapeshifter, able to completely change its form to deal with whatever the environment throws at it. And this diagram from the CDC lays it all out perfectly. You can see its normal life in the environment shown in red, and then there's that accidental path into a human in blue. It all comes down to 3 completely different forms this single cell can take on. So let's break that down. First, you've got the cyst. Think of it as a little armored ball. It's dormant, super tough, and just waits out bad conditions like cold or drought. When things get nice again, it transforms into the trophozoite. Now this is the active stage. It's feeding, it's reproducing, and it's the one that's infectious to us. And if it needs to get somewhere else fast, it can sprout 2 little tails, becoming a speedy flagellate to swim to a better spot.
But it's the trophozoite we really need to talk about. This thing loves heat. It thrives in water up to a crazy 46 degrees Celsius. That's 115 Fahrenheit. And it has this structure, sometimes called a food cup, which it uses to literally gobble up bacteria in a pond. But if it gets into a human brain, it uses that exact same tool to consume our brain cells.
So how in the world does this pond dweller make the jump into a person? Well, the conditions have to be just right, and it's all about location, location, location. It's pretty much all over the world in any warm, fresh water. So we're talking lakes and rivers in the middle of summer, natural hot springs, and, this is a big one, thermally polluted water, like the warm water that gets discharged from power plants. These artificial hotspots are perfect breeding grounds.
Now let's look at a place you might not expect to worry about this. The Netherlands. I mean, it's not exactly famous for its tropical, hot climate, right?
And yeah, you'd be right. So far, there have been 0 known cases that people have gotten from swimming in natural waters there. But the risk isn't 0. For one, you've got that industrial thermal pollution creating artificial warm spots where Naegleria fowleri has been found. 2, there's the risk of travelers bringing it back from other countries. And 3, with climate change, summers are getting hotter, and that means the theoretical risk in their natural lakes is slowly creeping up.
Okay, this next part is absolutely critical to understand. You cannot get this from drinking contaminated water. Your stomach acid will obliterate it. The one and only way an infection can happen is when water containing that trophozoite form gets forced way, way up into the nose. From there, it latches on to the olfactory nerve, which is basically a direct highway to the front of the brain.
And once it's in the brain, it causes a disease called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, or PAM.
The name tells you exactly what it does. It causes massive inflammation of the brain and its surrounding membranes, and from that point on, it is a brutal, lightning-fast race against time.
The speed is just terrifying. After a few days of incubation where you feel nothing, the first symptoms hit. But they look just like regular bacterial meningitis, a bad headache, fever, nausea. Sometimes the one tiny clue is a change in the sense of smell or taste because the amoeba attacks the olfactory bulbs first. But after that, it's just a rapid, catastrophic decline.
And the outcome, well, it's almost always fatal. The case fatality rate is over 97%. It is, without a doubt, one of the deadliest infections known to science.
A huge part of the problem is just figuring out what's wrong. Because it looks so much like meningitis at first, that's what doctors treat it as. By the time they realize something much stranger is going on, precious time has been lost. The only way to be sure is to find the amoeba in the spinal fluid. And tragically, that diagnosis is often made after the patient has already died.
So knowing how incredibly deadly this is, prevention is really the only weapon we have. So how do you stay safe?
Well, the good news is the advice is pretty simple. When you're swimming in any warm, fresh water, especially in the heat of summer, do whatever you can to stop water from shooting up your nose. Hold it shut, use nose clips, try not to dunk your head. It's also a good idea to avoid kicking up the mud and sediment on the bottom, because that's where the amoebas hang out.
Ultimately, Naegleria fowleri is a pretty stark reminder. It's a rare disease for sure, but it is absolutely devastating. It really highlights this delicate, invisible balance we have with the microbial world all around us, and it makes you wonder how that balance is going to shift as our planet keeps getting warmer.
We put this entire explainer together using a Gemini deep search. So if you want to go deeper and check out the primary research yourself, we've put a full list of all our sources in a Notebook LM document. The link is right there in the description. So the main takeaway here is that Naegleria fowleri isn't some monster hunting us down. It's a natural part of the environment whose biology just happens to lead to this terrible, tragic outcome in these very specific situations. What was the most surprising thing you learned about this accidental killer? Let us know down in the comments, and of course, make sure to subscribe for more explainers.